Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be in nursing informatics? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I'm the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer, and the facilitator of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know working from their computers around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, although we're coming a little bit early this morning at 6:30 to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you were ever told that you would not succeed. And remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. Our special guest today is Allison Hargrove. Allison worked her way through college as a waitress at Meadow Village and graduated from Barton College in 1998 with her BSN. She married her high school sweetheart, and they have 3 beautiful children. Allison has devoted her nursing career with care with a focus in community health. She worked 13 years with 3HC Home Health and Hospice and has spent 9 years at Comwell Health. She is currently the Senior Director of IT, Data Management, and Care Coordination. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming on stage with me.
Hey, glad to be here.
So now tell us the reason that you chose nursing as a profession.
So I really wanted to be able to help people. I know that old adage, but I think when I was graduating high school, there was really 2 different paths for girls. It seemed like either you taught or you became a nurse, and I didn't really want to be a teacher. So I think it's changed a whole lot since then. But I love being a nurse and helping people. I really do.
Yeah, I thought about teaching as well. My daughter thought about teaching, but I was like, those children, they're smarter than I am. So no, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So you worked in a hospice. What was something that you did with your patients with their permission? I remember you telling me something that you did.
Well, I said a prayer with them, and many times, most every single time, they would agree to pray, and many of them were so grateful for a chance to pray. I think that, well, and in home health and hospice. So I think with the hospice, more were expecting, but are more accustomed to praying. But with home health, a lot of times those individuals are homebound. They may not have a lot of visitors. They'd have long time wound care, and so being able to say a word of prayer with them really made a difference because they couldn't go to their churches or may not had a lot of family. So it was a great opportunity. I only remember 2 occasions where 2 separate patients did not want me to pray for them.
Now, why do you think that was so important?
I think I believe truly that spirituality and that healing the mind, soul, and body, and having that connection really is a relief in a way for them to heal or at least find comfort.
Yes, it's huge. It is huge. I remember that I had a physician who used to pray for all of his patients whenever they would come in for any procedure. And that was the one thing that they remembered. They remembered him praying with them, right? They didn't remember, and the reality is that, I think that we get so caught up in the minutia of, all the task of the day that we don't really understand that we really need to tap into the soul of the person, right? We need to tap into their emotion and their well-being and that aspect of it. And so it makes it so different. Now, you had to lay off 2 nurses, and this was very hard for you. How did you feel in the moment? And what were some of the things that you were determined to do after this incident?
Well, I think for me, it was very, very difficult because I was a new in leadership, and the whole company had underwent some major losses. There was change in the way regulation went, And after I had to do that, I said, I will never do this again. So I'm constantly looking at ways, how does what we do affect the billing? When there's a new billing regulation, if there's a new procedure code, if we're getting denial. So a lot of nurses don't look into that part, but we work so hard at what we're doing. And if we're not collecting for what we're or we're not taking in that income, we're absolutely working for free and a lot of times losing. So looking to see if there's other streams of revenue that we can kind of take advantage of, or control the spending. So sometimes when somebody wants the new whatever it is that they need or feel like they need, is kind of, you have to really go back to, is this a want or a need? Can we afford it? I go back to Proverbs 31, where the woman considers before she buys a new field. Before you expand, it kind of goes in there. You have to be able to make sure you can afford what you're getting. And I think our current CEO is great at that. She's really changed our financial pathway and helped us come to a new level.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And it does make a difference for sure. Making sure on the back end, and nurses don't really think about that, right? We don't think about that aspect of it because we come into the nursing profession and we come in thinking about taking care of the patient. But at the end of the day, we have to get paid in order to be able to take care of the patient. And so that back end of things is huge, huge, huge.
One thing I say is no money, no mission. So if you cannot help people if you can't keep the doors open. So I think it's very critical.
That's right. That's right. And one of the things that people are always, it was funny that I was in a clubhouse room one morning, and this guy, he was like, this girl was talking about manifesting and how you manifest things to come to you and manifesting the money. And he said, he was like, well, you're always talking about money and that shouldn't be where you are. And I was like, you know what? I said, you can't. And so I chimed in because I wanted to help her. And I was like, look, dude, I said, this is the reality. The reality is that if you don't have money, I said, you can't elevate your purpose. You can't elevate your platform. You have got to have money in order to be able to do that. You can do it, but it's going to be harder. It's like a buggy going across the road as opposed to the Maserati, right? That's right. How it is, in that. So now, can you define what a federally qualified healthcare system is and why are they so important to our community?
So the government, they created federally qualified or grant dollars to help these community health centers to provide care for patients that were being turned away from their doctor's offices. A lot of providers did not want to see patients who were uninsured or had Medicare or Medicaid because the payment was not enough. So they started these grants in rural communities to help decrease the amount of dollars that were being used in the emergency room. Because if you've been to the emergency room, a lot of times people would utilize the emergency room for non-emergent problems. And so what they do is they give us money for staffing and usually some money to establish a building or build the building. And then they require us to submit data and proof of how many patients we see. So if they give us a certain amount of money, they want us to tell how many people were we able to help and how well did we do it. So we have a report card I just submitted last week, and the team did it's crazy. It's probably 200 pages worth of reports, how many diabetics and how many are controlled, how many are uncontrolled, and looks at the race and ethnicity and to see if there's any variances. How are we doing across the board from birth weight? So it really looks at that. So we take very good care of our patients. So
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
I think everything rises and falls on leadership. And of course, you've got a phenomenal leader.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Got several of them.
Yes, yes. So you are now in informatics. Now, what was the reason that you decided to pivot from the bedside to go into nursing informatics?
I think it chose me.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So I'm the accidental informatics, I guess you could say. So I always like to click. I'm very curious and like to learn. So if there's a button, even when I was at 3HC, I always got picked to be on like the implementation team or to do that. So to explore how do I fix something, or somebody had a problem, I could kind of figure out how to do it. So when I came to Commonwealth Health, they were back to, after the first time, I'm getting nervous, I'm sorry. When I came back the second time to Commonwealth, I took a position and said to be a clinical systems analyst. And with that, I worked on trying to rebuild the system, train the new staff, and then I went into administration. So
I gotcha. And one of the things that I always say is that you need to know what you don't want to do. Okay. And I love that you want to be an informatics nurse, but I knew it was like the shiny star, right? So I went and I looked for that shiny star and I was like, I think that I want to be an informatics nurse. And then we started with all the coding and stuff. And I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. And I was like, thank you for Allison. Okay. Thank you for people like you that want to do that all the time. I love it. So now, being in informatics does give you an edge. Now, what do you envision the future will look like in nursing informatics?
I see it's just there's so many ways to use technology. So I think I hope that they'll take the computer people will take the input from nurses and providers and just be able to make things easier. I think for physicians and nurses now, it's all about the click. So we hear about pajama time. So how many times does a provider leave from seeing their 20 patients in a day, go home and take their computers? There's something we could do for them, or how can we use that technology to improve the patient's care, keeping them engaged? So like sending text or gathering in. Right now, if we have to do a manual call list to pull in the patients who need a pap smear, or who need a physical, or haven't had their A1C done in a long time, it takes someone picking up the phone and dialing voicemail. So there's so many different ways that we can use technology to kind of keep the patients engaged and reach more people with less frustration, or less, just try to make things better.
One of the things, and I really, admire that we do have nurses on those teams. And the reason why is because I remember going into one of our EMRs, it was a big system overhaul. And I remember going into that, and the people who were on the IT side of things, like, they really didn't understand, because they weren't nurses, right? They didn't understand that side of things. They didn't understand how to, take it from the IT side to the nursing side. And that is huge, right? Because what happens is you think that it is okay for us to be able to do this, and this. But the reality is that we don't need to do all that, right? We need to write it. So it is good for us to be able to be at the bedside with the patient and take care of the patient, and not take care of the computer. And literally making sure that that process was efficient was such an overhaul. And it literally, it was it was such a hard sale for them. I mean, every time I would bring something up, and I was like, look, because what I am good at is being a bedside nurse, right? Because I was there for so long. And so I know the ways in which we can make this more efficient, because I'm not about the minutia of making it harder, but making us smarter, right?
Right. I'm all for that.
That's right. Now, people ask how to find the purpose. What are some of the things that you had to do that you can do to find your purpose, and you think how you found yours?
Well, one thing I think is take time to slow down and get quiet. So I think right now the world is so loud. I mean, you've got my husband last night was getting on my kids because the screen time, you've got Snapchat, or they have Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is that so many people are reaching, or emails, or different things that are going on. And it's hard to get quiet and spend time and really figure out what's right for you or what you need to do. So I think praying, and then if you step out and it's not right, you'll know. I think you have to feel forward. You don't automatically know. That's what I tell my kids. I said, I just want you to be happy. And if you do something and it's not there, just as long as you've prayed about it, the Lord is going to be with you no matter what. He'll work all things together for the good.
And I think one of the things that we do too, especially with our kids, is we try to shield them, right? We try to shield them from making mistakes. And most of the time, we learn from our mistakes. Like, we learn the biggest lessons from our mistakes. And so learning to let them fly is huge. And it's hard, right? Because you don't want them to fail. You want to teach them how not to. And I had to learn to just let go. Okay, if you fail, then you're going to fail forward because you're smart and because I raised you. And the Lord said that what I put in you is coming out of you. So, okay, all right, let me just think about that.
Yeah.
Now, what is a book that you have read that has changed your life, and why was it so impactful?
So I go back to the Bible. I think I'm learning from it, reading it every day, but I think that is key. So this year I'm doing I'm trying to use a devotion to kind of lead my reading. It's called What Matters Most.
Uh-huh.
And so it's really, really good. So I'm doing that. And the other book I'm reading right now is how to invest in the stock market. So I'm trying to learn about that as well. So,
well, you teach me, okay? You teach me.
I hadn't quite figured it out. I'm using the one for dummies, but we'll check it out.
So now, where can you find the devotion?
I bought Ollie's. A lot of times has great devotions, but it's our daily bread. What matters most.
Okay, cool. Because I want to find that for sure. Now, who in nursing has been impactful to your nursing career, and how would they been so impactful?
I would say Tammy Dunn has been a great leadership example. I think she has such an energy. She's always spins things positively, and she has a way to connect with people, and that has been good. And then Jennifer Whitley, she's another nurse that my former boss, and so she rode with her on the first day I did home health, and so she was a great example. Very organized, dedicated, and had a good home life balance. I think that's critical for nurses to have.
Yeah, I love Tammy. She was a guest on Morning Infusion at one point in time, and I love her. So now, tell me some ways in which we can nurture the new nurses that are coming into nursing.
I think it's critical for us to allow them to spend time with us. And, a lot of people don't like to take the time to have the new students come. So we currently have some students from Campbell University that's coming with us to helping us right now at Comwell. And it's just amazing how give them a chance to listen to what they're learning. They know a lot of times the technology better, but letting them know that it's okay to fake it till you make it, but at the same time, don't be afraid to ask questions. Be confident in what you do know, but what you don't know, always ask questions, because you always want to make sure you have the skill, you have the know-how to do what you're about to do to the patient, because you want to take care of the patients.
That's true. And they do know that technology. They knew that technology a lot better than we do. But the reality is that, the technology, of course, would capture the information, but the connection with the patient is what we really need for sure.
Definitely.
So I love it. So thank you. My name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Supples Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge they already know, working from their computers around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders such as Allison that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you were ever told that you would not succeed. And remember to hit the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. You guys have a phenomenal day.